3, 2, 1. We're alive.
Welcome back to the channel, guys.
Back.
Before we get into the video, I'd like to shout out our sponsor of the day, www.wix.com. Okay. No more funny shit.
We might shout out our sponsor later in the video, but right now, I think it'd be good practice to do focused, short form podcasts or a podcast.
Yes.
Focused, short form podcast outlining the ideas of, not even outlining, we're just talking.
We're just chatting.
We're just chatting about the idea of manifestation and visualization and creation, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do we talk about?
Well, when I hear about manifestation and visualization, I think this is also kind of brought on by the conversation we just had too. But like it got me thinking about how I got to where I am. Mm-hmm. And
hi, my name is Elena Parejo. I'm 25 years old.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of another silly thing to say about myself, but I forgot everything about myself in that moment.
I'm an aspiring author.
That's all you need to know.
Trying to get nipple piercings for my 26th birthday.
I say that every year on my birthday, though, and then I pussy out. But like,
bunny tattoo inbound.
Yes, or both. I need to do it though, because if I turn 30 and I don't have my nipples pierced, like they're never getting pierced.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, you know, like everyone always assumes I have them done. So I feel like I need to have them done.
Right.
Anyway, enough about that.
Yeah.
Cut that out, please.
Probably not. I like the idea of unfiltered, non-edited.
Okay. You're not going to edit any of your podcasts?
No.
Everything I say is set in stone?
Yeah. Of course. That's what makes it personable.
Okay, cool. But like I was saying, when kind of informed by our conversation earlier and also just the idea of manifestation and stuff, it got me thinking about like, how did I get where I am? But like as someone who's 25 in their mid-20s and still hasn't, quote unquote, like made it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, how have I gotten this far on just belief?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes. Such a good topic.
Yeah.
Belief.
Like, it's like, I guess you can call it manifestation, but this is like the only path I could have ever imagined for myself.
Yeah.
And I think back to like, as a kid, obviously I wasn't sitting there manifesting because I was like 12. Manifestation didn't really like hit the mainstream yet. But I would sit there and I would, be like, oh, I'm going to have a book published by the time I'm 20. Obviously that didn't happen. Mm-hmm. But
you did finish writing a full book when you were 19, right?
I did.
You could have had that published, but you didn't.
No, I didn't, because I was like, that's not the path for me. You got to like, it was just a gut instinct. You know? And then, of course, like, you know, the goal keeps getting pushed back a bit as I learned that sometimes life has other plans for you. Sometimes you have to, you know, it's not all linear. But, yeah, ever since then, it's been the only thing I could imagine for myself was a life where I write books for a living.
Interesting. You have such a straight and narrow vision. Mm-hmm. I feel like that could help with manifesting. And I use this term endearingly or sincerely, but I will say, even now, I kind of chuckle at it, right?
Okay, yeah.
I think manifesting is kind of goofy, very silly, but very true, right? And the idea of manifesting comes from the internal roots, right? Mm-hmm. The idea that the world is created internally, and then we live to bring the internal to the shared space, right? And I think we'll see what order of operations this podcast is released in, but you mentioned how in your head you know what the perfect sentence feels like, but you don't really know you don't know exactly what that looks like. You kind of know what it looks like, right? And it's similar to me, and I know this is going to sound so delusional, especially with where I'm at right now, but I just imagine myself being a grossly successful entrepreneur. I have no right of saying that, like none, right?
You have all the right in the world to say that.
Well, just like the guy on the street has every right to express his conspiracy theories, but
Well, yes.
in terms of freedom to say that, yes, I have a right. But in terms of experience and platform, I have very little to stand on. But similar to you, I can just imagine it, right? I close my eyes and think, what would it feel like to be, running a multi-million or even billion-dollar fashion brand? I'm like, I would have my hands in film. I would have my hands in photography. I'd have my hands in, material science and fashion design, and not exactly sure how music relates to this, but music's in there somewhere, right? But I just imagine as I grow, I can put more resources into some of the stuff that doesn't immediately draw my attention.
Yeah.
Right? Like fashion, for whatever reason, is pretty front and center. But yeah, I think practicing visualization, practicing attuning yourself to your own inner world. I don't know. There have been periods in my life where I've done that, and I felt very at peace with where I stood in the context of everything, right? I wasn't like, oh, God, I need to do this. I was like, you know what? I'm very happy with where I'm at, and I know I'm on the right path.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering for you, when it comes to manifesting, when it comes to visualizing, what do you do when what you imagine does not present itself in reality?
Yeah. That's a good question.
Yeah.
I will say also, like, what I know about manifestation is basically nothing.
Yeah.
Right? I think I use manifestation as, like, this kind of catch-all term for just, like, almost the will to keep on going, in a sense. I'm not using, like, hardcore manifestation techniques. Like, I know there's some people write it down, some people, like, burn paper. I don't know exactly how it works. I'm just usually thinking about it, right? Like I said, like when the first time I decided I was going to write a book was when I was 16. And I was like, oh, I'm going to be that kid who's like got her published novel by 18. Right? And then that didn't happen, but I never stopped wanting that. And I never stopped believing that it was for me.
Yeah.
And I think, part of it is also understanding that it's never going to be what you expect it to be.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you can get close, but it's never exactly the path that you think you're going to take. But that's good. Because everything informs your art in some way. And, you might be taking the long road, you might be taking a detour, but you're always going to get to the point that you need to be at, I think. So, like, I think it's sometimes you have to take risks. Sometimes you have to go off and do kind of like I hate to say like a side quest, but like you have to go to Greece for a few months and live there and work. You have to go to Peru and volunteer there.
Yeah.
And like it may not seem like it's directly affecting your goal, or it might be actually causing your goal to look
more distant.
more, I was going to say not even, it might like alter your goal completely.
Yeah.
Like you might think, oh, because I did this, like I can't do this other thing.
Right.
But everything's going to happen in time, you know?
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I know it's frustrating, but I think letting go of control really helps.
Yeah, relinquishing that need for it to be immediate certainly helps. Mm-hmm. But it's also really frustrating because in regards to control and freedom, I look at the life I would have if I had millions of dollars, right? I'd have the freedom to do more extravagant things and provide for everybody I care about, but I would have an obligation to run this business. And right now, I have kind of the freedom to do anything. I don't really have any obligation to business, to investors, to employees, and sometimes I wonder, deep down inside, is there a part of me that just keeps pushing off the responsibility so I could just, be free? Mm-hmm. And it's annoying because I'm like, in my action, I see that. I see that being a real possibility. But in the way I speak, it's different, right? And I'm wondering how to break that distance.
Yeah.
Right? Between what I'm saying and what I want to be and what I'm doing. Right?
Yeah.
Like how, yeah.
I actually saw this thing the other day online, and it was basically like, I think the person who posted about it was turning 26, and they were kind of freaking out about turning 26 and that they felt like they weren't where they wanted to be in life.
Yeah.
And then I think their therapist told them to sit down and just journal about what their ideal day would, maybe not even ideal day, but what their daily routine would look like as a 26-year-old, right? Like in their idealized version of themselves, really. And yeah, sometimes I think about this a lot, having kind of entered my mid-20s. Like it wasn't really on my mind before then, but I'm starting to think I'm doing things that the adult version of me wouldn't do. Like spending hours on TikTok. Mm-hmm. That's not what an adult Lainey does.
Yeah.
But I still do it.
Yeah.
And I think by having it like written down, it helps. I mean, I haven't done this yet.
Your do's and don'ts?
Kind of like your do's and don'ts.
Your
or like
routine?
Your like routine, like a 26-year-old Lainey doesn't wake up after 11:30. Like that's just an example. Yeah. I know how to cook a certain amount of recipes. I know how to, just like basic life things. And like, kind of get into your daily routine and stuff. And I think kind of having that could help inform or help connect this idea of you to the reality of you.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think about how I'd want to start my day. And, when I first moved to Philly, the way I wanted to start my day was how I started my day. Mm-hmm. Right? I would start with meditation, yoga, then I'd have a podcast in my ear while I'd bike to the gym. Right? Mm-hmm. And I'd start my day like that. And then I'd spend, the rest of the day reading or writing or just biking around, but I didn't have enough of a clear vision to say this is what I want to do, right? Mm-hmm. And it was weird. I remember in October of 2023, I had quit my retail job and I had quit my serving job. And I was like, I want to go all in on this ed tech idea I have. Curate, that's what it would be. It'll be this like AI version of learning, right? Mm-hmm. And I started creating a pitch deck for it. And then it didn't feel like I was falling into the right pace. And I tried that for a month, and it didn't feel right. And that's actually what led to my, not depression, but just lull in life.
Yeah.
Right? And I was confused because, at the time, I just loved the idea of being an entrepreneur. I love just creating things, but I don't know why, but it doesn't feel like it's totally working out, right? And I fear that I just have that, and I'm sure a lot of people do have or experience this, right? This excitement at the very beginning, the potential of a novel idea or novel experience, and then that's it, right?
Yeah.
I have trouble getting past the start. I have no problems coming up with ideas, but I have a lot of issue moving forward.
Yeah.
Right? And now I'm just thinking, what can I do today? Just one thing that I can do today to help build the business that I want to build.
Yeah.
Right? Recording this is a good step. Mm-hmm. So it's weird because I think when I visualize, you could talk about emotional regulation. You could talk about, aligning yourself with the right frequency. You could talk about energy. But, I focus on where I want to go. Mm-hmm. I start with the end.
Yeah.
Right? And then for the longest time, I thought about working backwards, right? Like, all right, if I start here, what would be a next step to get a lot closer to my final destination? But that next step also felt so far, right? Like I didn't even know. My next step in my head was, create a pitch deck, get a co-founder, get into Y Combinator, get some seed money, some investors, and get the ball rolling, right? But it didn't. I was like, I don't know if I'd want a co-founder, and if I had a co-founder, who would it be? And I think I've always been so hesitant to take the jump because the leap would be kind of a blind risk, right? So I've been pushing it off so much that I've really come to the end of the line. I don't really have any other options in terms of time, right? Like truth be told, I don't have enough money to do what I've done the past 3 years, right?
Yeah.
And it makes me so nervous because I wonder, am I ready?
I think you kind of have to be.
Yeah.
At this point, and like, honestly, being ready is not what you should be thinking about.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like, am I ready? When will I be ready? You just have to do it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Try and think back to like, I think it's easy, especially when you're kind of in your mid-20s and you're still doing the creative thing. It's like, all right, pack it up, Right. I think a lot of people in your life a lot of people around you who are your age start, developing their lives, kind of falling into these, comfy lives.
Conventional.
Yes.
Conventional lives.
And then the adults I guess we are the adults now, but the older adults around you kind of give you weird looks or start to make comments about, being realistic and things like that. I think it makes it hard. I think that makes it harder to feel ready, honestly.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, well, if it hasn't worked out yet, maybe I wasn't ready. Maybe I never will be ready.
Yeah.
But, I mean, would you have thought, would that thought have even crossed your mind when you were like 16? Like, when I was 16 and I sat down to write a book, I had all the goddamn confidence in the world. I probably shouldn't have. because it was not the best.
Right.
But I was like, oh, I'm going to do this. Like,
Yeah.
I'm ready. There was never a question of, oh, am I ready? Am I not ready yet?
Yeah.
It's just like, I need to do this. I think need is sometimes more important than preparation
Yeah.
or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But like that drive is what's going to get you places. It's not, having all the answers figured out. It's the drive to figure out the answers.
Yeah.
It is though, really. Like, yeah. I don't know. There's some days where I'm like, why am I writing? What am I doing this for? What if this doesn't pan out? But I'm like, I don't care. I know it has to work out.
Yeah.
I have that drive. If this doesn't work out, I'll figure out another way.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a persistence.
Yeah, it is.
The constant pursuit.
Definitely.
Yeah, and it's strange because I question my path sometimes, but then, like I said, there are moments, right, where what I visualized at the end somehow influenced the position I ended up in, right? Like, I find it both coincidental and romantically perfect that not only did I move to Boston, but I met these people who were just unencumbered by shame is not fair. They, at their core, were artists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's such a good way to put it.
Yeah.
And I think those moments are just as important as, maybe not just as important as, but influence your work to a very important extent. Like, your work wouldn't be what your work is had you not met those people.
Yes. Yeah.
And like, even though it's not doing anything in quotations, it's still informing your creativity and it's part of the process.
Well, it actually explicitly helped me create, right? You know, the pants that I'm wearing were created in collaboration with one of those artists, right? And, sometimes I forget, but I was also, when I was in Boston, I was taking a part in making a nonprofit, right? That was with another one of the artists. And yeah, I also built a bit of a community in a religion, not because of the artist, but I brought one of those artists in, and I think, I think it's very easy to gloss over all those moments that actually reminded you you're on the right path.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you feel the same way, but I think it's easy to lose sight of the end when everybody else around you is projecting doubt.
Oh, it definitely is.
Yeah.
I think it's hard, especially because there is so much internal doubt that can come from trying to make a living as a creative or trying to take a big creative risk. But as soon as someone says it or kind of echoes that doubt that you have in yourself, I get so mad, which is not fair. But I'm mad because all of a sudden it validates these doubts that I've had.
Right.
And it makes them tangible almost. And it makes me, I get bitchy if someone's like, oh, well, what are you going to do if the whole writing thing doesn't work out?
Yeah.
Like, what do you want me to fucking say? Kill myself? Yeah. Shoot myself in the fucking street?
Yeah.
That's, I think, genuinely a really hard part. And then, kind of the middle part, like you were talking about, starting is easy and visualizing the end is easy. But that middle part is especially with big projects like starting your own business or writing a novel.
Yep.
The middle part, it's foggy and it's messy and it's the perfect time for doubt to creep in. But yeah, for me, I just have to like kind of remind myself why I'm doing it. Sometimes that's when I really visualize, like, if I'm like having a day where I'm like, I don't want to write at all. Like, I imagine what it'd be like to go to like my book signing in New York and like, silly stuff like that, like things that I hope to achieve one day.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, all right, well, if I want that to be real, someone's got to do it, and it's got to be me.
Yeah.
Like there's no other choice. But sometimes I also use like what I don't want my life to be like as motivation too. Like I think I wish I still had this list, but when I was, I think, in high school, I wrote a list of, it was like all the reasons why I write. And I don't remember anything on the list except the top one was to leave my hometown. And then I think as soon as I left my hometown, though, I kind of stopped writing for a little bit. It was like, oh, well, I figured out another way out.
Yeah.
So we're good. But that, I had to kind of develop other ways to convince myself to write, if that makes sense. Other reasons.
Interesting. Yeah, because you don't need writing to leave your hometown.
Yeah, once I realized that, I was like, oh, I just needed to actually leave.
Yeah.
Like, it was actually rather easy.
Yeah. Oh, that's a really good exercise. Because
You should do that.
the first thing that comes to my mind is to take care of everybody or provide for everybody that I care for. Right? Like I mean, say what you want, but I want to be the type of person who, takes my friends on trips, and obviously my family is, like, I want to take care of them. I don't want my sisters to worry about anything. I don't want my parents to worry about anything.
Well, sorry, you can go.
Yeah, I just, that one is not going to be, fulfilled by just going the typical route.
Well,
Or maybe it will. I don't know.
I was gonna say, I think you should actually like sit down and write a list like that, like why you want to have this business and why you want to create the things you want to create. Because honestly, like, it's the same thing as my wanting to leave my hometown. Like, there's a lot of ways to do that.
Yeah.
There's a lot more direct ways to do that than starting your own business, honestly.
Yeah.
But there's a reason that you are choosing the more difficult path. Or, okay, maybe the more difficult path isn't fair to say, but the less outlined, less conventional path.
I think more difficult's fair to say.
Okay.
Because, I mean, the grass is always greener.
I don't want to offend the corporate workers out there.
The grass is always greener.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm sure, while we try to find our purpose, other people might feel purposeless.
Yeah.
Right? So
that's a big thing, yeah.
I think your correction is actually spot on.
Yeah. And it does kind of help too. Sometimes, like, I talk to my friends who are kind of, have fallen into their comfy, somewhat adult lives. And I'm like, I express to them that sometimes I see their lives and people who have lives similar, and I'm like, what am I doing? Like, what do I have to show for all this work and effort? Like, nothing.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of them express to me, they're like, God, I wish I had something that I cared about the way you care about writing. Or like, I wish I had like a passion that I could have pursued, but I didn't care enough about anything, which I think is a whole nother thing. I think everyone does have a passion. I think everyone has the capacity within them to be just as creative, if not way more creative than me. But yeah, basically, I feel like sometimes when I get super like, oh my God, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? I remind myself that as frustrating and as kind of terrifying as it can be, having this like desire and this goal is kind of its own type of blessing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a beautiful way of looking at it.
Yeah, because like if I didn't want it this, I feel like my life would be less directional.
Yeah.
Like if I didn't want this.
In what way?
Like, I think I remember the other day, actually, I found this old Google Doc I wrote. I apparently used to keep a lot of lists. This one was like my lifetime bucket list. And it was like less like, hike Machu Picchu, more like things I wanted to accomplish and do. You know what I mean? Like more like lifelong goals that I have to like put effort into, like every day, little by little. And the first one was move to Spain or live in Europe. And then the second one was write my book. And if I didn't have those two things kind of guided all my choices since then in some way or another. Like everything I've worked towards was firstly to live in Europe and then also write. Everything else is kind of just the life that happens in between all that. Like if I didn't have those two kind of pillars of guiding my way, I don't know what the hell I would be doing. I don't know what I would like. I wouldn't want anything that bad. I would not have like having a place I want to live and such a big goal that I want to accomplish is kind of enough to let the rest of my life fall into place around that. You know? But if I didn't have that, I feel like my life would just I don't know. It's hard to imagine, but my life would have just definitely looked different.
Yeah.
There wouldn't have been anything guiding me, and I think I would have been a little bit more complacent, maybe.
Yeah.
In certain things.
Yeah.
I don't know if that made any sense. I feel like I talked for a minute there.
That's fair.
Yeah. Do you feel like you have like these obviously the business is the guiding desire, but do you feel like you have like a secondary one at all?
I think there is the business side of me that wants to provide for those I directly care about and interact with. And then there's the education component, which is meant to serve society. So there's that personal pursuit, and then there's the societal pursuit.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's what grounds me a lot. But, it's... I don't know how much of a guiding force it's been. It hasn't been as direct as yours. I don't know if I lacked the conviction or if I just didn't realize what those two were, Because I think I sort of realized my personal pursuit while I was in Boston, away from family. And I realized, it's kind of like, these famous people who claim to care about their family, but they care more about, all right.
Ray Charles.
Yeah. We were watching that movie, and, he claimed to care about his family, but his music always came first, right? And I think in my head, I moved to Boston because I wanted to make a career for myself, right? I said, I'm going to get into education, and I'm going to learn from the best education in the country, arguably the world, and then, I'll be able to extract my learnings and then build something myself, right? But then I got to Boston, realized, I'm so far from family. How could I say I'm doing this for family when I'm away from family? And it felt kind of hypocritical or antithetical to my purpose. And it made me realize there may have been some unfinished business here, right? Not in the professional sense, but in my realizing who I am sense. So I think now I come back with a little bit more purpose, where I'm like, I want to take care of my family. I'm still learning how to do that. I'm also trying to make, a business for myself that involves a lot of raw expression in a couple of different forms. And then also working on the societal part, right? Where I'm in classrooms, I'm getting a taste of what students actually experience and more importantly, what teachers experience. And that is invaluable, right? So I think what's nice about my days now is that I don't feel like any of them are really, I can say none of them are ever wasted, because no matter what I do, I feel like I'm winning. It's just about packing packing my day efficiently and effectively.
Yeah.
Right?
And that takes time.
Yeah.
If you want something kind of so non-traditional for your life and for your path, it takes time to figure out. It takes time to find the trail sometimes, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Oh my God, so much so. And I think, I don't know, you could definitely relate to this. You think you're there, right? You think you're in the right place, right? In Boston, I thought I was in the right place for education. And then you came along and offered this substitute teaching opportunity. And I got into the school district of Philadelphia and realized, wow, this school system needs a lot, right? And there's so much opportunity here, right? And it felt way more abundant than Boston. Like, I didn't even move into Philly, and I already had a job lined up.
Yeah.
Right? Substitute teaching is super easy, so it's not like...
But still, it's a step forward.
Right. But yes, it's a step forward, but it felt so perfect, right? Because I didn't even look for the job. You kind of delivered this job to me.
And you're welcome.
Thank you.
And I'm actually so glad I didn't end up doing it.
Yeah, right? And it's strange, because you brought it to me as a potential for your temporary job, right? You're like, while I find while I look for a real job, in the meantime, I can work as a sub.
Yeah.
I think this could be a good job for you too. Now that's what I do. And now I'm like, how do I get more involved in this school district, right?
Yeah.
But I think that's a good place to stop, right? Because now I'm searching for ways to get more involved in the education or in conventional education, to expose myself to what that world looks like today. And then I'm working on, developing stronger ties to family. I think living in Pennsylvania, in Philadelphia, where all my family is super helpful and very conducive to, strengthening that bond. And then professionally, I finally launched the business. Officially. I officially launched a business.
So exciting.
So exciting. But what about for you? Where do you want to end off? Right.
Yeah.
You listed your 2 pillars, your 2 guiding pillars.
And I think I kind of made the one happen. Wait, before I even get into that, I want to say I think you need a more selfish pillar. In my opinion. Maybe you don't, but your 2 pillars, I mean, they're still very valid, but one of them, 3, okay. But you emphasize more so providing for the family.
Yeah.
And then also the societal one of
Sure.
creating a school. I think you touched a little bit on making things for yourself.
Well, I think the business is my selfish pillar.
Yeah, but
Like that.
the thing is the business, but why do you want that,
Well, I can tell you a byproduct is providing for the family, right? But that other pillar is family. I would say the business is my pillar, right? I think I just struggle. I do struggle being a little more selfish. But really, at its core, it's about self-expression. Because I feel like for so many years, I've struggled to be... Internally, I struggled to be aligned with myself. In high school, I had a lot of turmoil In college, I thought I found my way, but my conviction, I think was a bit misguided, closed me off. Even though I was open, I think...
It takes time. It can't happen overnight, you know?
Yeah, I think I was just a bit lost. And then I started to be selfish, right? These past 4 years, I would say, have been much more self-serving. And I've been riddled with guilt because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it can be hard, but I think maybe you should focus a little bit more on that aspect of it, though. Not the guilt.
What?
But this desire to kind of connect with your inner self.
Yeah.
And kind of like try and let that guide you more than anything. And just focus on that a little bit sometimes when you're creating and see what comes out of it.
Okay.
You know? I mean, I think all art is a little bit selfish. I don't know, art is strange because you make it for yourself, but you also make it for everyone else.
Yeah.
But you're also mostly making it for yourself.
But what's...
in an attempt to connect with other people.
Yeah, that's the beautiful part about art.
Yeah.
When you make something so selfish, you connect to such a pointed part to somebody or of somebody, right? And to somebody else, it might seem selfish, but to another person, you just made something click.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
That's why I love music.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably why I struggle to connect music. Because I'm like, I don't exactly know how... It's expression. It's self-expression.
It is.
Yeah.
Definitely. But I think being selfish... maybe being selfish isn't a fair way to put it. I think sometimes you need to turn very inward when you want to achieve a goal like this.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, the only motivation you have comes from yourself.
Right.
Like my two pillars, moving abroad and writing a book, they don't serve anyone except myself.
Yeah,
they actually probably make some people's lives a little bit harder.
Yeah.
But that's what I want more than anything, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I don't want you to have to change your entire outlook on everything, but I think it could be interesting to just try and, ruminate more on, do it for yourself, you know?
Yeah, definitely struggle with that, doing things for myself.
Yeah, do it because you want to be the creator of this great business.
Yeah.
Because you see something in yourself, you know there's something worth sharing, you know?
Thank you.
Of course.
Hey.
And I'll leave it there.
Dang, as you should. As you should.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, and that's a wrap.